I must say it's an interesting journey so far. As you know, I was a member of the board for 8 years as chairman of chairmen, but it is quite a different thing to be a member of the board as well as being the president of the federation, because being the president will make you to be in charge of the entire system. But so far, so good. But as you know, our vision is to make sure that we develop the game of football from the grassroots, as well as to see how we can take our league, especially the domestic league, to the level it deserves to be for the benefit of all. During my campaign, I said, by the grace of God, we will see that the Super Eagles get to the finals of AFCON and qualify to the next World Cup. And to God be the glory, we were at the finals of the last AFCON. Unfortunately, we lost to the host country gallantly. You see the Super Falcons, they were able to qualify for Olympics after 16 years of exit from that tournament. As well as you saw our under-17 girls. They won bronze medal at the last World Cup in India. And so many other things. And the way you saw our league that is improving, especially the Premier League, you see that now any team can go away and play their match and win an away match and come out without any hindrance. And we also, because we try to make sure that we improve in the area of officiating, especially on the area of the referees, we make sure that at least only competent referees were allowed to participate in our league. And every single train that they deserve to have, we try to make sure that we train them adequately, both with the support of the FIFA and CAF, as well as our internal trainings. Just recently, the beginning of this season, as we promised, we provide the communication guidance to the referees. As I'm talking to you also, we have some of our referees that are undergoing the bar training in Côte d'Ivoire, which is part of our intention to see that before the expiration of our tenure, we introduce bar into our league. So we are doing a lot, and by the grace of God, we are seeing progress in what we are trying to achieve.
For government, Nigeria cannot afford not to be at the 2026 World Cup. That is the expectation of government. Government will continue to support whatever support it needs to give. But government, speaking for Nigerians, will also expect that the senior national team will not fail to be at the next World Cup. When we look at what the calculations are, statistically, that window is still possible. The AFCON that comes next year, of course, government will not expect that AFCON Cup that has eluded us in the last editions, that in 2025, the NFF and those who are gathered here are going to do everything possible to bring that AFCON back to Nigeria. This government inherited a debt that was owed the former senior team's national coach. What is the Nike sponsorship deal? What are the deals, for example? Can we have deals that can take over the sponsorship and the payment of the senior team national coach? I mean, the atmosphere of uncertainty doesn't help this game. The NFF and this body must come out with clear indications about where we are. We have two competitions, we have AFCON, we have World Cup qualifiers. And we have, Augustine Govon was appointed to take care of the last set of matches. He's been made to take care of the next set of matches. At what point are we going to have a final determination of these? So there's no uncertainty, so we are sure-footed about where we are headed. All of these things will need to be addressed and need to be responded to. This government met what they call a 10-year football master plan. And the fact that this master plan needs to be implemented. Just like it inherited the national sports industry policy, and it is implementing. Where are we in terms of that implementation? One of the greatest highlights is the fact that in this room are seated FA chairmen, are seated referees, are seated players union, are seated all sorts of people as part of the stakeholders. To what extent Have we tried to be fair? To what extent have we tried to see how we can get the body, for example, that attends the NFF Elective Congress representative enough and make it competitive enough? The NFF cannot continue to give a blind ear to the various calls that have continued to be made over the reform and the expansion of the Congress. It is better that it does it while there is time to do it, because it may also get to a time in which you may not have enough time to be able to do it. The hope is that as you have these meetings year in, year out, that NFF is going to look at this and be able to respond and be progressive and let government know that it is serious enough and it is responding to the things that need to be done.
You're welcome to Sports on Sunday, and I am Ken Ochonogo. Now you've just had the man at the helm of affairs of Nigerian football, Guso himself, and also the Minister for Sports Development. Few things were spoken there. We shall take a look at those few things and also look around what is trending in the world of sports. Like we said, our priority in the immediate past and the next few weeks, will be centered on Nigerian sports. Of course, the chunk of it is Nigerian football. Here we are unbiased. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the MPFL. Ramos stars are flying high. They are flying high. They are flying high. 4 games they've played, 4 games they've won. That tells you 12 points in the kitty. Lobby Stars are off the bottom rung. They've climbed to, I think, 15th now, after their 1-0 win yesterday in the match day 5. So we'll look at, the hot spots for today and see where your teams are playing. If you are close by, probably you'll go and watch them. Internationally, a lot of things, few things happened there. Paul Pogba, the man was banned for taking drugs, and he said, I didn't do this, I didn't do it knowingly. And then the CS Court of Arbitration for Sports have just reduced his ban, from that artist from 40 years, and he's now just to serve just 18 months. And since he has already served a chunk of that ban, he should be back by January. So people are saying, hooray, will you keep him, or will he be free to move? After that, but it seems that he is back. And then we'll go back to the MPFL because, yes, the duo are back. The man tweeted, he said, look, which club should I join? And then, yes, we know where he was going, but that bait, a lot of us caught it, but he is back former captain of the national team. He's playing for the MPFL. He's starting today. So we'll tell you which club he's playing for and who he is. And also, we'll look at tennis because after Coco Golf parted ways with her coach, right now as we speak, Ryder, she's playing the final against Muchova, the lady who knocked out Arena Sabalenka, and that is where we are on. So we'll open the lines when the time is right, and so we hear from you. But then we'll look at what the AGM, did some issues that they raised and see if you have your own insights or you have your own contributions on what you believe will be the path for sports development in Nigeria. The Super Eagles, yes, the Super Eagles, it's a two-legged thing, game against Libya. So the Libyans will be here, and then it will be 11th and 15th that the match will be played. But the players are supposed to start arriving by Monday, and Monday is tomorrow. For the Friday game. So they'll start arriving tomorrow at Uyo, the Gospel Akpabio Stadium, before the return leg right there. So it's a double header between Nigeria and Libya. And then Egu Avoin, he's in charge, and his list is out. There's been a bit of talking points on those lists. And then we shall also go to Europe and see what is happening. Leverkusen are always coming back. This time the hunter became the hunted. So will tell you how that one ended, for Victor Boniface. That guy is another thing entirely when it comes to the social media. Someday we'll start taking his tweets and then show you what he does there. But the thing is, if you talk and you perform on the pitch, then, that marriage is made in heaven. The EPL slot came in and they not slotted him in after they clocked out his predecessor. So and then he says, look, he is there atop the league. A very wonderful start for him. After that glitch, we thought it was going south, but rather he maintained his radar and is back at the apogee of the EPL. We look at also what is happening in the La Liga, because I don't know, some people are riding high somewhere. And it's China Sport on Sunday. Let me start with the baby in the house. Theophilus Agbanao, Theo,
yeah.
Theo, the Catalan, how are you?
I'm very good, Ken. It feels good to be back. You talked about Bayer Leverkusen. At the start of that game yesterday, there were 2 goals up. And I was talking with my brother, and he was like, why do I have a feeling that what Bayer Leverkusen always does to their opponents will happen to them? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we see 2-2. I'm playing, coming up against, I think, a newly promoted side.
Yeah, Holstein.
And then 2-2. And, it reminded me of Borussia Dortmund's game the week before.
Yeah.
They were down by 2 goals, then they came from behind, and then it happened again yesterday. Borussia Dortmund ended up losing this time around. That's the beauty of league football. We talked about the MPFL last week where we're showering praises and encomium.
Yeah, seven wins out of 11, 7 away wins out of 11
exactly.
games.
When you see people can confidently go away and get results, and when you now see it happening in Europe and against top teams in their own home, I think it's something that should be celebrated as well.
Yeah, so Wemi Ajala is also here. Where you had from the Musa Guso, and you also had from Eno, the minister and the chairman. And then the man is asking, what is the Nike money and other things. And at the NFF, they just brought 17.6 billion, from there for this year. But last year, we know they got 1.55 billion, from the Nigerian government, from the part of the Ministry of Sport.
Yeah, I think thanks for having me, Ken. Basically, for the past 5 years, it has always been 1.2, 1.3 for NFL.
Yeah.
Also, the NIS also has their
1 point something.
Yeah. 1 point something, where NYC has usually always take 183, and now imagine what NYC will be taking this year because of the new 77,000 that has been promised to COP members. So,
okay, they've raised their levy.
No, they've been promised. I think they will be paid in arrears based on what the ministry is saying. So, as at then, the NYC was taking like 93-94%. So, by the time you take the overall cost of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, they were taking like 12 billion, 15 billion. But basically, NFF, NIS, they were within the range of 1.2, 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
So, and then we're coming from an era where we're saying 5% should be given to sport. Yes. How much money that we've lowered the standard to 3.5, and that you just keep asking the question people have been asking, that the slums, how much are budgeted for the slums, then how much is the budget for Nigerian sport? We're here on this program when Daniel Gali told us that what the swimmers, the budget for the swimmers in Australia is bigger than the budget for our sports.
Sports in Nigeria.
Yeah, not just the budget for swimmers. Daniel did tell us that the budget for training one athlete. Which was the year that they gave him? They gave a whole federation 20 million. 20 million. They gave that 20 million. What I is to buy.
And I think that was even a Commonwealth year.
Yeah,
they budgeted 20 million. 20 million. I don't convert it to.
There's no need.
Yeah, because that's the match bonus of the Super Eagles.
Yes.
You understand? It's akin to, because if Super Eagles go to play, you give them $10,000 as a winning bonus, and then you give a federation 20 million naira. So I mean, what are we talking about here? So let me stick with you up there, because you mentioned the issue of, in this sports industry policy of 2022 to 2026, that we are saying that they are in the 2009 sport policy that was approved, it was a minimum of 5%. Now, in this one now, they have watered it down to between 3 to 3.5%. We said it was not enough. But even this one, the 31.4 billion that was budgeted for this, that is the budget for the ministry this year, that they approved for them, is just 0.11%, not even up to...
Less than 1%.
Less than 0.2%. Less than 0.2%.
I think, Ken, the genesis of the budget itself, I've always said it that if you are looking for a way to be depressed, just pick the Nigerian budget and look at it. And you could see the fact coming out from the different organizations where you have a situation where a school in Kaduna will be budgeting for SUV for traditional rulers in Lagos. So the budget itself, the more you look, the less you see. So when we're now even talking about 0.11%, which is not even up to 0.2%,
yes.
and 0.2% is how much. So maybe I'm not in their mind. They are looking at what comes in from okay, if you have sponsorship and endorsement. But again, the sponsorship and endorsement have always been confidential.
It has always been confidential. The source of your money, the FIFA Gold project, a lot of sources where the FA did get their fund. But I think they have is a Pricewaterhouse who they have as their auditors in house who will audit it, and then I think it is with the what is that a public information bill that if
FOI,
Freedom of Information Bill, yeah. That if you want the information you can get it. But what we are saying is, you budget for the whole of the Ministry of Sports Development. It is sports development. When you say you are budgeting 31.24 billion for the year, and then we are saying out of that 31.24 billion, about 20 billion is being set aside. It's being set aside, for capital projects. Yes. So the running, the training, because all those are not part of capital projects. Yes, you understand? So these are what I want to look at. We thought that when on this table, when on this set, when in this studio, we did say that there is need for sports to be carved out of the youth and sports, because one is when you have twins, what is that? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. The other one is twins are supposed to be. We have identical twins. And we have some twins that you now wonder if the other one was just a droplet from the other twin. So presently it's an oppressive cohabitation between sports and youths. Because like when it points out there, 92 to 93% of the budget then was for NYSC. While probably what trickles down to sports after you remember about 1.3 billion for NFF and about 1.2 billion for NIC comes down to probably around 15 billion in a year. So that now we move down to 31 point, but that 31.24 billion is 0.11% of the total budget of the federation. So let me say it the way we say it. We never start. We never start. It is not the starting point at all. It is not the base. It's not the base. The sport policy of 2009 says a minimum of 5% for the local government, for the state, and for the federal, that thing should be pumped into sport. Now you reversed it under the Dare regime and said the national sport industry policy comes down to between 3 to 3.5%. 3 to 3.5%. Okay, remove the 3, not even the 0.5%. It is 0.1, not up to 0.2%. So there is somewhere that we have to start from. This is a conversation where when we concentrate on this, or that is what we deal on, and we'll just take it there. But let's look at what is happening. Eguavon is taking the Super Eagles. He is the head of the technical department. Right now, they've drafted him to continue. After then, there was this rumor that he said, I'm not coaching again. I'm not going to Super Eagles again. It's like a reassignment. They are as the head of that, they say, this period, go and take it there. So his list is out. Before we look at that list, I want to talk something here. When I was driving this morning, driving down to the studio, and I was looking at this Eguavon issue, I looked at the coaching scenario. And I said, and I not just said, I said to myself, Eguavoen was assistant to Bonfrejo when we were preparing for that 2002 World Cup. Remember? That is when Bonfrey asked Amadou Shuaibu, Keshi, and Eriko to concentrate on the AFCON. Why himself, that was when he now brought in Eguavoen to be part of his team that will handle the World Cup qualifiers. You understand? At the end of the day, it was Amadou Ashopo and Koruna qualified us while Nick made it was that took us. I mean, that story is a long story.
Very long story, yes.
Now, 2002, that is 2021, 22 to 2024, it's about 22 good years, minimum. So, Eguavoen see the lane. I don't understand because sorry before you. I don't want to say this because I look at this conversation. I thought about it seriously because we say get experience, understudy, whatever it is. The great Mourinho understudied two great coaches.
Yes, the great Mourinho.
Yes, he understudied Bobby Robson. He also understudied Louis van Gaal. You understand? And then he said one of them, loves, every time to do it, planning and another thing. He doesn't like working on the pitch. The other one likes working on the pitch and the delegator. So as I start those things, he led from one, he was able to know how to articulate the plan his own. For the other one, he knows how to go and take the training. So he graduated from that thing. Now, that is how he built his own. Pep Guardiola, the greatest of them all. I mean, here was a man who, the only thing he had was just coaching the B team of Barcelona. And he came on. These days now, we are seeing, people like Xabi Alonso. So I do believe, what of Arteta? Arteta was still playing when Pep carried him and took him to Man City. And he was an assistant at Man City when they gave him the job of Arsenal, one of the biggest jobs in club football. So basically, we looked down at Finidi, that Finidi where did he coach? He coached him, but they said no, it was an abridged league that he won, and whatever it is. I believe that Eguavoen is any Nigerian manager who is good, any coach is good enough to take any responsibility. It is not the CV. It is when you come there. Unless when you see a serial failure, it's a different matter entirely. But when you want to take the chance to do it, you can take it on. I mean, that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but Ken, I think the challenge is, have we really given Eguavoen the time?
Never. He has never spent more than 6 months on the job.
Last time he said he spent 6 months,
yes.
2 games, 4 games.
Yes, he has never spent more than 6 months
because unlike I think in Africa we have Saban, the Nigerian coach, who was always getting sacked, getting re-employed, just like Amadou. But those two scenarios, we have coaches who, when you ask them to go, you bring them in as a stopgap. They have that time. But I think that is the problem. So nobody can judge Eguavoen that whether he has failed or he has succeeded with the national team. But one thing is crucial. Eguavoen has been to 2 AFCON, even though on short notices, and has been unbeaten in his group stages. So I think that speaks volume.
Ken.
So for the
list for the players have been called up: Stanley Nwabali, Maduka Okoye, and of course Amas Obasoge. Nwabali obviously the main guy for Super Eagles of Nigeria. Okay, for the forwards, a notable miss there, as he will be unavailable because of injuries. Talking about
Victor Osimhen.
But we have Samuel Chukwueze in his replacement, Chidera Ijuke, the player who has dribbled the most in the La Liga, completed the most dribbles in the La Liga this season. Ademola Lookman, African footballer be here in waiting, and of course senior man Kelechi Iheanacho.
Okay, Chidera has got the most dribbles in
Chidera Ijuke has the most dribbles in La Liga this season.
Okay, that's a good.
Victor Boniface, of course, the guy that's always setting social media ablaze every single time, was in Simon in France, and of course Taiwo Awoni in Nottingham Forest. It will hopefully be in action later today for his club side.
Okay, so these are some of the players that have been called up. So we're taking on Libya. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say something like we're looking at successful coaches that have gone on to win stuff with the national team. Let's use Europe as an example. I was on the show the other day when somebody was saying no foreigner has won a World Cup.
Yeah.
No foreign coach has won a World Cup.
Yeah.
It takes more than just bringing somebody. See, Luis de la Fuente is currently the coach of the Spanish national team.
Yeah.
If any team is set to dominate world football for the next couple of years again, it's looking like that team because the way those boys are young, those boys are hungry, and most importantly, these boys have been playing together for a long time. What do they have in common? Luis de la Fuente has been in the coaching setup of the Spanish national team for almost 15 years.
Exactly.
Coaching at every level of the game. In fact, at a point, I think they are going on to win the European Under-21s. Like 3 of the players that won this last Euros, the senior Euro with him, had always been with him at every single level. These are players that he knows. These are players that he trusts. I'll give you an example. Players like Nomand that plays for Atletico Madrid, he's out now, injured. And of course, this one Manchester City boy that moved to Saudi Arabia, I remember his name in a bit. They both were eligible to play for France. Under the current French coach, talking about Didier Deschamps felt they were not good enough to play for France. They switched their nationality back to Spain, played at the junior level as well, and look at where they are today. Now, why did Deschamps say they were not good enough to play for France? Deschamps has also been in the system for a long time. Working with multiple coaches, working with several players, seeing players bloom, seeing players blossom, seeing players drop in form, seeing players out of nowhere springing up. Now, something is happening again with Thierry Henry. Henry has coached the junior teams. Henry has coached the Olympic team. We are watching Henry on TV, Champions League games, and every single French player that seems to do well, that's come through the ranks, they have either worked with him at the junior level, worked with him at the Olympic level, one way or the other. And you see the way he relates with them, the way he talks to them, is beyond a player to a legend. It's more or less like a personal relationship because he knows these players. So when you have someone like Austin Eguavoen, whom my father used to talk about every single time, you know, being in the system, and so far cannot keep a job with the Super Eagles beyond a certain period. It's indicting on what our football has become today, Ken.
You've just said, because look at Gareth Southgate. Apart from being, I think the stand he had with Middlesbrough or so, before he entered there, he was in the setup. So they went up with Lee. How many pundits, how many football players will know Lee?
Yes.
But he has
always been there.
He has been in the system. And from there, you move up. Daniel Passarella, this whatever. That's how they know. Jose Peckerman. You move, you are in the system. You understand the system and you go up. But our fire brigade approaches is that we want it. And then we'll be in that search for it. Our psyche or our mentality, whatever it is, we get a mediocre from anywhere. And then
Ken, we love football in Nigeria. First for cutting you short, I don't think we love it more than the Brazilians, Ken. I don't think the way they see their own football, but they're willing to see people grow. They're willing to see people develop. Every single person has a story, and the story has been one of progression. But somehow it's always, the chart is never balanced with us.
Yeah, I think one of the major problems is also our mentality as a people. We view most things, everything is for us is a stopgap, placeholder. Now, 8 great coaches.
Accurate.
For you, just win one tournament, you should go to the next one.
They say promote him. They say promote the under 17. Okay, when they say promote the coach and the player to the next level. It's like, we'll come back. I want to go on a short break. I want to come back because Guso talk about turning trying to get an academy. Bros, that one no sell. When we come back, we shall also open the line. Stay with us. It is Channel Sport on Sunday. All right, welcome back. It is the Channel Sport on Sunday. The lines will be open. We shall flash the lines there on the screen so that you join us on the various issues that we are discussing. And like we said here on this show, we do not buy you from any topic that has to do with sports development. At anything you want to talk about sport, in as much as it is positive, in as much as you know what you're talking about, in as much as you malign nobody because you have with your phone. So the lines we know the lines are open. You join us. But let me see because the one we call him Jimmy Kato. Jimmy Ogolano is in the house.
Yeah, a pleasure to be here as always. Thank you, Ken. I think it's instructive what Austin Eguavoen, represents to those of us that have been advocating for indigenous coaches. The performances, rightfully so, the NFF have, put him in that saddle. We can only hope, he does well, and that clamor, will be something that at least we'll be proud about. I feel that it's very, very important at this point in time, especially when we do say we don't have the funds to look inwards, continue building inwards, because we are not going to get foreign administrators. So if we're not going to get foreign administrators, let's stick with what we have. there must be strategic national interest at the heart of whatever we do, especially if we want to develop our sports right.
So, given the choice, if you want to have foreign coaches and foreign administrators, which will you invest in?
None. None.
He's a wise man. Keshi
gave us something to be absolutely proud about.
Can we take that is the communique?
I think communique of the annual General Assembly.
These are part of extras from the communique.
Yeah, extras, so to speak. So the Congress also approved the NFF's 2025 budget proposal amounting to the sum of 17.6 billion.
Okay.
The Congress emphasized the need for the NFF Executive Committee to prioritize grassroots football and talent discovery nationwide in alignment with FIFA's vision for football global growth.
Okay.
I think that prioritize should be starting because it's not existing. So they should be starting, not prioritizing.
Okay.
So the Congress acknowledged the progress made so far by the NFF Executive Committee towards prioritizing the FIFA-initiated amendment to the NFF Status 2010 and assure that the concerns of Nigerians will be addressed when the amendment is concluded.
Okay, all right. Basically, this, we'll take this. We've taken the first point. What about the 17.6 billion, which they say the budget budgeted for? If we are ready, probably would like to hear from the NFF, president himself when he, when he's talking about when he was talking. Yeah, are we ready? Okay, let's see him where he's talking about this, catching them young and probably translating into an academy. I don't know, but let's hear him clearly so that you guys can follow.
With introduction of talent development hunt, which we key into it, and we have started working hard. We set up a team. We employ some coaches within the zones and some states, and they have gone around and they have done their scouting for under 13, under 15. As I'm talking to you, we have a selection of 40 young footballers below the age of 15 that we are going to be camping, to be working on them, giving them training after every holiday from schools. And those are the boys that we are going to rely on going forward to participate, to be in charge of our under-17 teams. In the next couple of years, we are not going to rely on putting an open camp to recruit our under-17 players. With this area of the talent development hunt being introduced by FIFA and supported by FIFA, I think we are going to achieve that in the next couple of years. And FIFA has gone even further to say in the next couple of years we can even turn it to an academy to make sure that those young boys and girls that were being discovered through the talent development hunt, we try to control them and manage them to train them how to play football, as well as give them the right education they deserve. We recruited coaches from state to zones, and then after the states, we send our team of technical officials to the zones, and they came together, and it is true that they make a selection. And then finally, they were able to come up with about 100 of young boys to converge here in Abuja, and out of that number, we're able to get out about 40 of them. Okay,
you heard him. They will pick about 40. Beautiful. The Spain has that. England have the St. George's Center, where you bring in the under 12, under 13, right then and train them. But where I don't agree, or where I disagree or tend to differ, with the president, is where he's saying FIFA is saying that turn them into an academy. Gentlemen, before I come to you, in the last 1 year or so, looking at England and looking at Spain, and probably in Germany and other places. In England, for instance, we have two kids, Cole Palmer, who moved from Manchester City to Chelsea, and Kobe Mainoo, breakout stars who moved in because they were playing for their football club, and then you see that you bring them in. In Spain, Yamin, you understand? And then everybody saw him. And you saw him at the European Championship.
Anointed by Messi.
Anointed, whatever it is. So, you beautiful that open camp, whatever it is. But that is why we have school sports, primary school, Channels under 13 is a primary school competition where you can pick and identify players under 13. Moving on, if you have, the secondary school, you can have the JSS school, football tournament. You can have the SSS school tournament. That gives you a full load. So you cannot say if you have only 40 that this is where your concentration is going to be. Supposing a standard player comes out from these other areas, are you going to say because it's not in that particular 40, you are not going to? It's a very wonderful thing to say, okay, we have this. Okay, Okorafor is reaching us from Aaron Dizogo. Why am I always calling this Aaron Dizogo? See, Okorafor, I know it's Aaron Chuku, but something is my mindset. Whenever you, I must go to that place. All right, let's hear you, Okorafor. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ken. Well, maybe, if you face to you, relocate the tax or tonight, I'm a good story. Good afternoon, Mr. Player. Give me Mr. Ken. You see, the speech made by our brother there, the 40 is minimal. When you look at the 40, is it by zone or the whole country? That 40 is okay. Now,
no, it's the whole country. Yeah.
We have this political. Nigeria is a very nice country. We have good planners. But our problem is implementation and how to execute all this. He said during holidays, the only time we have long vacations is only third term.
Yeah.
Third term after July. That's when we have July, from that July to September. That's when you have this. Because first term holiday for the school students, second term holiday, it's not more than 2 weeks. So that's why I'm asking which South Africa. Now, our coach, who is the federal government, I will advise the federal government, the first minister, the Grand South, in as much as what we give to Oyibo coach, they should bring back such things to our Nigerian coach. This will make them use the last pint of their blood to do what? To do the job. Because situation whereby you give Oyibo man different category of defensive and give Nigeria, it doesn't make it that we are still practicing this issue of slavery in terms of employment, which is not good. And we have to make our local teams we have here. We have different teams in different states. Can't we come out to the states and make sure that any of them playing this African game with other states or other countries? They should do the needful. At the end of the day, after first or second one that you see a particular team crashing out, it's not healthy. Honestly saying, I don't derive the when all this is happening. Good afternoon, Mr. K and Mr. Pierre. Good one.
All right, good afternoon. He says they've already gotten coaches, they've gotten players, and then from what they select, they are selecting 40.
Ken, I think talent identification is very, very important for sports development. Yeah. But I would make an excuse for him. I think he probably, made conflicting statements somewhat. Okay. And I can excuse him. But where I will not excuse him is the fact that you have a lot of academies that do register with state, FEs.
State FEs, yes.
They register with NFF. Yeah. They are supposed to register their players on TMS. So the question really begs, who are these coaches that have been employed? And why didn't we know before now? If they had been employed to, identify talent, who are those? Which zones? How did they zone it? We had Sunday Olise come here to talk about, possibilities of scouting across different regions and having different models. There are different models possible. But the NFF cannot continue to act in a close-circuited manner that information and communication becomes a major issue. Now, you are talking about the possibility...
it's open to
even if they are not throwing it open in terms of
they've employed coaches. Yeah. Probably
what I'm saying is saying it now as something that had been done.
Yes, yes.
But ordinarily, before even delving into that as a venture, we need to understand where you are coming from. Now, you are talking about an academy. The NFF has absolutely, according to the FIFA statutes, the NFF should give enabling environment for academies to thrive, to register with them, and they can now work with the academies. That's why we have under 13, we have under 15, under 17. If you have these 8 cadres, and you are saying that the NFF on its own will count players, will do, I mean, you are probably just taking off some of what exactly the academies are supposed to do,
I think,
and the interest.
I think Alhaji Yusuf is mixing up issues.
Yeah.
What Arsene Wenger, the chief of global football development, was trying to implement is a global standard development scheme. where FIFA will be like the central body in each of the associations, where they'll be working with local school authorities. It's even, you talk about school sport.
Yeah.
So they are even, just like the NBA, that you have the collegiate system. So they are trying to model football, the grassroots football, after the NBA college system, whereby schools will be involved. Then it's those schools that will now congregate to form those academies.
Exactly.
Not NFL.
Ken, I have a question for
academy.
Have you seen the ministers of sports and the ministers of education, the two of them, come together, and even youth come together to say, look, we are going to form an amalgam to get it right. Sport is supposed to be a tool for re-engineering the society, and the only way you can get it right from the grassroots is by what Okwe has already talked about now.
That is why in U-Best, you have the sports and education, together. So I think
if you look at the pyramid,
there should be a synergy between them.
If you look at the pyramid at local government level, this council for education and sport are always supposed to be together.
Exactly.
But it's of recent that
you have sports and agriculture, different models.
Okay, because let us zoom in here, because we say we'll take up the MPFL story. Last week you see us dancing. We spoke with Adebesa Wumi, the COO of the MPFL. We're just jubilant. That week it was away win. The following week it now became home win. This week, let us see how it's going to be. But let us see, because yesterday there was. Okay, these are the games that were played.
Shooting lost yesterday. For today, we have Nasarawa United taking on Bayelsa United. Enugu Rangers are home to Abia Warriors. Niger Tornadoes against Atland of Owerri. Kano Pillars with their new signings.
Yes,
Shehu Abdullahi.
We'll talk about Kano Pillars.
Taking on Sunshine Stars. Then Remo Stars visiting Kwara United.
Okay, these are the other fixtures.
Plateau United taking on Ikorodu City. Our MPFL is an MPFL of United. So Rivers United against
United people.
Yimba taking on another United side.
A lot of United. These are the results of yesterday, match day 5.
Bendel Insurance. Okay, Lobby Stars, they played against Shooting
Stars and they won. And that lifted them up from the 20th to the 15th position.
Exactly,
we shall see the table now. And then insurance, I don't know. Insurance are the draw specialists of the league in the past 1.5 seasons. You understand? Insurance just draw. On the talk raw. Hello.
That's your club now.
do we have somebody on the line? Okay, Yakubu is on the line. Hello, Yakubu. Yakubu, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. We are waiting to hear from you. Let's hear your contribution. Yakubu, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, let's hear you. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Make a comment, most especially about the issue of the talent hunt.
Yeah.
And the academy issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of the good things that and the good news we're hearing from the NFF in the recent time.
Okay.
I remember in the past, some few years ago, when the Zenith is actually sponsoring the age grade. There used to be talent hunt like this from state to the zones and to the center, at which I think few players were discovered that today they are even in the national team. But somehow the sponsorship by Zenith actually stopped. So I think this one is a good news, hearing that FIFA talent hunt is coming to stay. And I think when they started the program, for some of us that are outside Abuja,
yeah.
I remember seeing a team coming to the northeast then, Plateau, Bauchi, Gombe, and some states to actually that the president of the NFF is talking that they are now trying to camp them from time to time.
Yeah.
I think it's a good one. The issue of the academy you're talking about, I think this is one of the major problems we have in Nigerian football.
Okay.
Because anytime you throw camps open, these academies that are supposedly controlled by the state FAs and Santa, you know, they turn the camps into an open place, open market where the highest bidder actually brings his players. Because this is where they see quick market.
Yeah.
So I think if the NFL will actually have a strong players, these academies will actually begin to respect the various state FAs, and then they will begin to channel the players there, so that once camp is open, you don't have to make it a begin to come and negotiate with coach, thinking that there is a quick sell for them. So I think it's a good one. But notwithstanding, the academies also should be given a level playing ground, so that from the state, at least these players can be identified by these identified coaches, so that they can be keyed into this program, and then that is when also them can actually find it competitive to actually raise the good players and then bring them into the entire cycle. So I think this is one thing, because I believe that age grade is where football is. And I think this is where we're having the problem, that now most of these key players, they think that they have permanent jersey, permanent shirt in the national camp. But when we have such developmental growth, obviously it will be competitive at our league and even at the national team
level.
So it's a kudos to the Ibrahim Gusau led administration and to the FIFA program, and I hope they will maintain it and actually make a good use of this window. Thank you.
Thank you, Yakubu.
Yeah, let me briefly add something.
Yeah.
You know, one of the merits of this time development scheme is this: when you are cooperating with schools, take for instance the Challenge Kids Cup. When you want to pick your man of the match, you can't get a note from a DG.
At all.
No, you must pick this guy.
Yes.
Of course.
You know, so unlike everybody just come
to the camp.
But if you are coming through the schools, the coaches will be there. So there is no way a palm sec somewhere will say, no, that is my candidate. Yeah. So that is the beauty of the collegiate system, which FIFA is trying to introduce.
I keep talking about last gems. When we used to have Lagos Junior League that was being, handled by Coach Tunde Disuden.
Yeah.
As at that time, they ensured that all of those that were playing, including the likes of Wilfred Ndidi, that went through that went through the league as at that time, they had themselves properly enrolled in the last gems Lagos stroke education database.
Yeah, exactly.
So that way you curb age cheating. That way you have a structured system for talent identification. We don't have that program right now. But like Ope has said, it's very, very important to have such, so to ensure that the issues of age cheating, we talked about something, age cheating, we will not be talking about it here, because at the end of the day,
Jimmy, let's go there.
That information
let's see.
can indict the nation.
Can we? Okay, let's see. Can we have the table, the current MPFL table? Let's see if we can have that, and then we see what the Sabulakers. We threw that teaser at the beginning of the show when we said one of the greats, is here. Okay, that is it. So
I think the most competitive league table in the world has to be the MPFL. 3 points does a lot. You have Remo Stars with 12 points from their 4 games. Rivers United, that is George Finidi, 10 points. Eyimba, 9 points.
And Nigeria Tornadoes are there. And at the bottom, Lobby Stars left the bottom.
Yeah. Occupied by Ikorodu City.
Ikorodu City, Heartland, and then Bayelsa United. Bayelsa United. You would have going to comfortable at this part every season now. So you better not become there.
The only city team in Nigeria is bottom, while the other city team is flying high.
Okay. All right, Remo Stars, kudos to Remo Stars for now. 4 plays, 4-1. That's maximum points. But then let us see Kano Pillars. Okay, let us unveil him, because...
Are you the one unveiling?
Unveil them.
He unveiled them. Someone said, who is going to pay whose salary?
Let us unveil the iconic one. Let me tell you this. The top 5 goal scorers in FIFA World Cup Africans.
Yeah.
I think number 1 is Asamoah with 6 goals.
6.
Number 2 is the iconic Makossa dancer. Roger Miller.
Yeah.
Roger Miller. Yeah, Roger Miller has 5 goals. And I tell you this, there comes the Nigerian guy. There comes the guy who says, which club should I play for in Nigeria? With 4 goals at number 3 in the whole of Africa. He scored 2 against Argentina. Ahmed Musa. That is his tweet.
I don't think that question should have existed in the first place, because if you look at the history...
Udeme is calling us, Udeme is from London, but let's say, okay, Udeme, this is what the tweet, which I tell you the reply after. I said, which club should he play for? He put all the Nigerians, Ahmed Musa asking, and he put all of them. Right now, he has chosen Kano Pillars. But let's take, okay, here is, we can this Kano Pillars. Can you take that? Udeme, hold on.
An agreement in principle.
Okay, all right, let's take Udeme. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Hello?
Hello, yes, go on.
Yeah, I think it's this thing about the FA, the NFA, and the kids development, this thing. I think what we should probably do is to allow the state FAs to be the forefront.
Okay.
All right, the state FAs are the forefront, because, like, you can't come from, let's say, like, you know, from federal all the way down to the state. We have to allow the FA to liaise with the Youth Development Ministry of each state to synergize it upwards. That's the right thing. If we synergize that upwards, where the state FAs organize their own small developmental thing. And I think I've seen a trend where schools are now being approved without any sporting facilities.
At all.
I think probably yes, exactly. That's where we need them. At that young age,
yes.
7, 8, they need to start taking ball about. So before any school is even approved, let's see what you have for kids when it comes to their activity, that energy burst. Where would they go to? Give us an approved location where they will probably say, okay, as a state, before the Ministry of Education approves, the FA would probably go and make an assessment to say, okay, yes, they have a little bit of sport thing that we can do we can start looking at them from that point. And then from there, we start looking at what we do as age grade football. They don't need to do an Olympic-sized stadium, just a little AstroTurf or anything. If they can afford a school, they can do that. Just a little AstroTurf for kids to walk around, kick around, and we can start we can start looking at them from that young level. I think we should also give responsibility to the state FAs. They can't be getting money or subvention every month, and then they go, and then we have to give reward for like FAs that are making good. Because I think the thing is, they can't go to their budget at the end of the month every year and share money. No, people should be rewarded for their effort. If an FA brings, let's say on the 17th, you have about 11 men coming from one state FA. That state FA, something is happening. Let's go learn from them. You should put more money. If one state brings one, why are we giving them more money? And we're sharing the same equal amount. No. Because the thing is, let all of them go back. Let the state FAs be the one forefront, because they are the ones in the state. They should be the ones going to local government and checking out what the local government has. And then we should synergize it with the state Ministry of Education, because that is key. Because if we now do, let's say for instance, like, you know, we have the federal government, this is federal, the FA is national, right? And then we have the state ministry taking a different turn. You can't have it. You can't go from, like, you know, federal down into, you have to go through the state Ministry of Education with the state FAs working in hand and the youth development of that state. So those 3 bodies, education and sports, and the FA, try to see what can we do, what do we have, what are the facilities we have. How can we, even during holidays, the long-term holidays, what competition can we do to keep these kids active, taking them away from this thing. Sometimes it could be also mental for the kids, because they're just at home. What are the state FAs doing competitions? At the end of the probably summertime,
thank you.
We do a full competition, and then we see what's going on.
Thank you, Debe. We are short of time. We are running out of time. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's retake that tweet. Please. Okay, that is it. Can you take that?
Okay, from Kano Pillars, we can confirm that an agreement in principle has been reached with Super Eagles players, Captain Ahmed Musa, MON, and Shehu Abdullahi to join up with us for the 2024-25 football season. Both players have been included in the squad for our match against Sunshine Stars on Sunday today. Yes,
so if you are anywhere near Kano, just go and watch it. But you said who's going to pay? Ahmed, you said who's going to, is it the club paying Ahmed Musa? Ahmed playing Kano Pillars?
I don't know. Okay, you know, one very, very important thing to note is Ahmed Musa, Gambo Mohammed, Rabi Ali that you talked about last week.
Yes.
The 3 of them,
they
are 3 of the most iconic players that have played,
Yeah.
including Ahmed,
Yaro.
Those ones, they are fantastic players that applied their trade for Kano pillars, and it's good to see them, you know, back in the side.
Yeah, the stars are back. The stars are back. That is how it should be. Amokachi was back. Yakini was back.
Gateway.
I asked Ahmed Muda to complete football by playing for Shooting Stars, but I think he knows better.
He knows better. Everybody was dragging him. Where should I play for? We know where he was going to, but the teaser was okay, and I love this. Okay, that is it. I don't know. I thought we would have gotten update on the Coco Golf versus Muchova. I don't know what the scores are right there at in Shanghai. Hello. 6 what? Who won? Coco. Okay, Coco won. 6-1, 6-3. That is over. That is straight set. She is the Shanghai Knight. Is a woman a knight?
No.
The man is Shanghai Knight.
Well, a dame.
Okay. It's a Shanghai dame.
Yeah.
Okay. So these guys. So Coco Golf is the Shanghai dame. I mean, she don't make me come. I mean, that's beautiful. Guys, we're living.
Ken, I think what Udeme has said is very, very instructive.
Yeah.
And I will charge, state FAs, local government sports councils, not state FAs, not sports commissions, because I'm not talking only football.
Yeah.
The 2 of them with the education, departments and ministries. Very important that they work together.
Yeah, to make it very clear to the NFF.
Yes.
The talent scheme, you can't divorce schools.
You can't divorce schools from it. It's a school sports. Artists, the grassroots is the basis. Till next week, I'm Kano Chanago. God bless Nigeria.